Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 2nd of July 2019 to talk about everything that went down on tonight's Smackdown Live. Now, I already see Luke Might in the chat saying, no Far From Home spoilers. And I have to agree, because I don't know spoilers, but I know a couple things that may be happening down the line for the MCU that could start in this movie. I might be watching the movie tonight. Not sure. I already got a copy of the movie here at home, so I could just watch it at home. Not sure if I'm going to watch it tonight or tomorrow. So we'll see. But yeah, please nobody, no Spider-Man Far From Home spoilers. I do know people that have seen it and said that it was just amazing. So I can't wait to see it myself. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Smackdown Live. And unfortunately, for the first time in a while, I liked Raw better this week. I thought SmackDown was a little bit of a meh. Hit and miss. There's some cool things. Jamal Lee, I'm saying that right now. But overall, I was a little bored. I do have to say, there were things that I did enjoy. There were things that I liked. But overall, I was bored. I never thought that there would be multiple talking segments that I actually liked over the matches on the show. So, interesting. I don't know. Looking at the chat here while we let some more people get in. Joe Decker says, did you see Witch behind Cruz? Oh, yeah. I first didn't know what you meant. You need Abby the Witch. I was like, Witch behind Cruz? What? Jamal Lee, if you have an Android device and you download the Cinema app, you can get Far From Home on there. The copy's not perfect, but it's good enough. At least for me. Luke Might says, I didn't watch SmackDown. I had football practice. Awesome. So, let's just jump right into it. So, SmackDown starts off with the Kevin Owens show. Owens came out and talked about Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. He teased that they would be his guests tonight, and then out came Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon. Owens was very odd in his delivery, but I at first I wasn't getting it, but then I got it. So, Owens is like, The Undertaker, when he was like talking about Undertaker stuff, and his dialect was very like that throughout the early parts of this. And I'm like, what is he doing? He's giving me that I don't want to be here vibe. Like, I don't care for this stuff they're making me do. But it was because he was doing that on purpose. He was reading off the cue cards that he was given. And same thing like when The Miz did it a couple weeks back on Miz TV. And he was like, I'm just reading it like I'm told. And so that's what Owens was doing tonight. So they recap The Undertaker confronting McMahon and McIntyre last night on Raw. McMahon mocked Undertaker and claimed not to be afraid of him. Fans broke out an Undertaker chant. McMahon said he's not afraid because he's on a hot streak. He announced that, so Drew announced that the tag team match at Extreme Rules will be a no-holds-barred match. Why can't they just say an Extreme Rules match? I get it. They don't want two matches to seem like they're the same. But just say it. No holds barred. I mean, Extreme Rules. It's the same thing. Both no holds barred and Extreme Rules. All it is weapons are allowed, no count out, and the match has to end in the ring. There's no difference. I don't believe an Extreme Rules match is false count anywhere. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But so Owens was convinced and wasn't convinced and showed some more footage of them jumping out of the ring when Undertaker was making his way down. Owens believed McMahon looked afraid of The Undertaker. McMahon says that he was annoyed with Owens' questions, and Owens goes, I'm a good host. I'm just reading the lines that I'm given to read on this card. I loved that. So, excuse me. Owens read a few more questions, and then He asked one about The Undertaker beating Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. So McIntyre said that he had heard enough, and he got in Owens' face. Dolph Ziggler's music would then hit, and he would come down, and I loved Owens here. Owens just goes off. He's like, you're not going to ruin this. You're not going to come out here and say that it should have been you. It should have been you. It should have been you. And he just starts screaming. He's like, what do you want? Another title shot? And the fans started cheering for Owens, and he's just going off. Ziggler and Owens got in each other's face, saying they both wanted a title shot at Kofi Kingston and WWE Championship win. Can't really happen. I mean, it could, but not going to happen. And Owens goes, well, there you go. Ask the authority figure. And McMahon said instead, he's like, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a shot at some titles. But we've always had tag teams that did great things that really didn't get along at first. He says, so tonight, you two will team up, take on Heavy Machinery, and the winners will be added to the WWE or the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match. They were reluctant at first, and then finally they were like, yeah, fine, whatever. Owens came off as a huge babyface here, and I mean huge babyface. Really cool. So in the back, the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions were approached by, I think it was Kayla Braxton. She said, what are your thoughts on your match at Extreme Rules now becoming a triple threat match? And Brian was like, my thoughts? You want my thoughts, Kayla? It's just them putting the odds against us and retaining our championships. The numbers are not in our favor. So then we got Daniel Bryan coming out to the ring as he was taking on Big E. Before the match, Big E and Xavier said that they're okay with the Extreme Rules match now being a triple threat. Bryan tried to use a shoulder tackle early, but Big E didn't move, didn't budge, not at all. Big E then rocked Bryan with a hard clothesline. Bryan rolled to the floor. So interesting thing here. I don't know if this is a Fox directive already or what. So we've been seeing the whole picture-in-picture thing. As far as during the commercial, we still see the matches because we see the picture-in-picture. On SmackDown, not on Raw. Now, I know for a fact that Fox does this. Because Fox does this with NASCAR. Where if the race is still going and they're not at a caution period, but they have to go to commercial, usually later in the race, they will do picture-in-picture. And so I know Fox does this for a fact. And to be honest, when they started doing this on SmackDown, which they never did on Raw, it was not long after the announcement was made that they were moving to Fox. So I don't know exactly if this has been a Fox directive or something they've been testing out to see if it would work for them on Fox. But that's just a thought of mine. Because we got wrestling through the commercial. Kind of. So during the commercial break, Bryan walked around ringside for a bit before finally re-entering the ring. Bryan then kicked Big E in the stomach to gain control. He rocked Big E with some kicks in the corner. Big E briefly took over, but Bryan used a chop block on Big E's knee. Back from the break, Bryan was firmly in control, working over the knee. Big E fought back and hit the belly-to-belly suplex. He followed it up with a second, and then Bryan avoided a third. Bryan rocked Big E with some kicks, but Big E finally hit him with the belly-to-belly for a close near fall. Big E attempted a spear through the ropes. Bryan sidestepped him, and Big E crashed and burned. Bryan then attempted a suicide dive, and Big E caught him with the forearm. Rowan then pushed Big E into the ring post. Woods tried to help, but Rowan took him out. Bryan then hit a running knee on Big E for the victory. Yeah, I was shocked too. Champions actually won a match that wasn't with the titles on the frickin' line. How often does that happen? Not often at all, especially against the New Day. So backstage, Kayla Braxton interviewed R-Truth. They recapped, because at first they were like, let's see the footage of what happened last night on Raw. And Truth's like, please don't. Please don't. Don't do it. Kayla, don't. Kayla, and you're doing it. So we saw what happened with Drake Maverick winning the title last night. We got some weird stuff about him talking about his what's it called? Honeymoon, and I didn't have a honeymoon, but then I had 2 or 3, and da-da-da. I'm like, what? He then said that he heard that Hornswoggle, Drake Maverick, of course, may be in San Antonio, and he's going to come looking for him. So you're trying to tell me that they're going to say that Drake Maverick took his wife to San Antonio for their honeymoon? I get it. San Antonio's got the Riverwalk, which is actually kind of cool. I've been there. But there's nothing else in San Antonio that, I don't know, head scratcher. Especially, why would he go to San Antonio knowing that that's where SmackDown's going to be and people can find him and take his title from him? I don't know. Anyways. In the back, Alexa Bliss told Nikki Cross, hey, I want you to go out there and host a moment of bliss tonight. And we never actually saw Alexa in front of the live crowd. So it leads me to believe that maybe she wasn't even there. So Nikki Cross comes out to host a moment of bliss. And she's talking really slow, and her accent's coming out. She goes, I want to let everybody know I'm from Glasgow, Scotland. I have quite of an accent, so I'm going to try to talk slow so you guys can understand me, so that way I can be a good host. So she's talking about how she admires Alexa Bliss and all that kind of stuff. And Cross thanked Bliss for giving her this opportunity. Cross pointed out that she will now have a guest tonight, and that guest would be Bayley. Before I move on, I want to say, squeaking out 69 in the chat to your comment, I've got 2 kids, you dumb motherfucker. So Bayley came out and said she was impressed that Bliss actually gave Nikki Cross the spotlight tonight. Bayley told her not to do Bliss's bidding, and Cross goes, I'm not doing her bidding. I'm out here actually hosting the show. And Cross goes, why did you call Alexa a liar? And Bayley goes, well, duh, because she is a liar. Cross didn't like that. Bayley pointed out that Cross beat her last week, so shouldn't Nikki be the one to get the shot at Bayley at Extreme Rules? Nikki jumps out of her seat and goes, well, I've been thinking about that. And, and I thought Nikki was going to finally come to her senses. And she goes, I want to know why I'm not facing you right now here on SmackDown. And Bayley goes, is that a challenge? And Nikki runs down to the ring. So we get a non-title match, Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Bayley was firmly in control and hit Cross with an elbow in the corner. Cross fought back and sent Bayley to the floor. She followed it up with a crossbody in the ring for a close near fall. Cross attempted a tornado DDT, but Bayley pushed her off. She then hit the Bayley to belly. Boom, boom. Pinned her. Bada boom. There we go. Yeah, Nikki Cross, who's been on a hot streak, they just beat her. Why? I don't know. I get it. You don't want to beat Bayley 2 weeks in a row, which is actually smart. But you've got Nikki Cross on a hot streak right now where she really didn't need to take this loss. Like, what is this going to lead to? Nothing. I really wish that Bayley would have lost again, to be honest, to Nikki Cross. And then they're just like, okay, Nikki, we're going to add you to the match because you keep beating the champion. Triple threat. So, in the back, WWE Champion Kofi Kingston was on his way to the ring for his face-to-face with Samoa Joe. Dangerous Taco? That's a good question. Where's Finn? I don't know. Thomas Jasper says, where's Brock been lately? In Saskatchewan on his farm. So we got a promo from Ali on the streets. He said he's chasing the WWE Championship because he wants to force change. He doesn't care about the money and he doesn't care about the fame. He promised that one day the WWE Champion to be WWE Champion and change everybody's mind. Ali said that his chase will continue and the change begins soon. Ali was good here. He said for some reason, I don't know what this was supposed to be, but he's like, I want when the announcer says new WWE Champion, you hear a name that is like yours. I didn't get that line, but okay. So in the ring, Kayla Braxton was down there and she was going to interview Kofi Kingston and Samoa Joe. Kofi came down first. She recapped Samoa Joe choking him out 2 weeks in a row on Raw. Braxton then introduced Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe showed Samoa Joe showed compassion. He said, "Kayla, I advise you to get out of the ring to avoid any collateral damage." So Joe goes, "You see that, Kofi? That's me showing compassion for others." He said, "That's what you and the New Day need." He said, "Kingston uses the fans just like him." Kingston noted that he defeated Bryan at WrestleMania all on his own. Samoa Joe said, "Whenever the opportunity comes up, you always have your boys with you." Kofi said he's going to change. He said Joe's changed, and now he's hiding. Kingston pointed out Joe's ass is too big to play hide and seek. Joe talked about Kingston's family. Kingston said he's not surprised that Joe's mentioning his family. He called him Jealous Joe. Kingston said that Joe wanted to have a moment with his kids at WrestleMania, as Kingston did. Joe promised not to attack Kingston's friends or family if Kingston would just shake his hand right here in the ring. So Kingston put his hand down like he was going to shake, and he was going to shake, and then his hand came up right in the face of Big E. He starts chuckling. We see his hand up. We know what he's doing. The camera pans around, and boom, he's flipping off Joe. Joe gets super mad, bounces off the ropes like he's going to hit him with a clothesline, and instead, Joe gets hit with the Trouble in Paradise and laid out. Kofi hops out of the ring, walks off. Very good segment. I thought both men were really good here. I think Joe is just an ace on the mic. Kofi improves every single week on the microphone. Not saying Kofi's ever been bad. Not saying that at all. But I just feel like, especially since being champion and knowing that, hey, they're going to put more in me and they're going to believe more in me, I got to step up my game. And Kofi has been stepping his game up both in the ring and on the mic. So I think these guys killed it tonight in this segment. It's probably my favorite thing on the show. Jeremiah Jones says, "What happened to Sammy? Also, where's Jeff Hardy? When is Jeff Hardy scheduled to return? Love the channel since 2016. You and Nick are fantastic." So the Jeff Hardy thing, we don't know. All I know is he's supposed to be out for probably the remainder of the year. As far as where was Sammy this week, I have no clue. So in the back, Heavy Machinery were interviewed. They promised to defeat Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens and then go on to Extreme Rules. They recapped the Braun Strowman-Bobby Lashley angle from last night. They again teased Strowman may have ruptured his spleen. They then showed a video of Bobby Lashley. Looked like he may have been in a hospital room, but he had a polo shirt on. And he was talking about everything that happened. He's like, "Hey, I may be a little banged up, but Braun Strowman got what was coming to him." He then said, if he ever crosses paths with that, what did he call him? He used foul language and the crowd popped big. What was the... Oh, I think he called him a son of a bitch. He's like, if I ever cross paths with that son of a bitch again, he's going to get even more. He's like, I'm going to put him in the morgue or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I didn't write that part down. Fortunately, when I watch, I can't rewind. But, yeah, he was like, I promise to put him in the morgue next time I cross paths with that son of a bitch. Something like that. And when he said that son of a bitch, crowd popped huge. So then we got Andrade versus Apollo Crews. I thought this was a very solid match. Zelina Vega grabbed Crews' leg to give Andrade the early advantage. Andrade hit the double knees in the corner for a near fall. Crews sent Andrade to the floor and hit a moonsault right off the apron. That's very impressive. It wasn't like an acai moonsault, assisted with the ropes, bouncing up. No, it was just a straight-out moonsault from standing still, which I loved. Andrade then attempted a plancha on the floor. Oh, my bad, I missed a spot. Crews hit the moonsault. Andrade fought back at ringside and rocked Crews with an elbow. Andrade then attempted a plancha to the floor, but Crews caught him and dropped him on the apron. Crews threw Andrade back in the ring. Zelina Vega then hit a Hurricane Rana off the apron and sent Crews onto the announce table. Andrade hit the Hammerlock DDT, got the victory, and I like what Corey said here. So after the match, Corey goes, there's a banner in the Performance Center. It says, what's the exact line? He says something like, it says, don't just fill a spot, take your spot. Something like that. And I was like, interesting. I really liked that. So Kevin Owens approached Dolph Ziggler backstage. Owens noted that they hadn't done a great job since returning. Owens said that they should give it a try tonight as far as working together so that way they can get a chance at the tag team titles. See Ember Moon coming out to the ring. She's then wished good luck by Carmella. So in the back, Aleister Black says that he doesn't want to know who knocked on his door last week. He said when he looked, the person was gone. So instead of him trying to find out now, he's liking the mind games and wants the person to meet him in the ring at Extreme Rules. And if nothing has changed, that person, to my knowledge, is most likely going to be Cesaro. So at Extreme Rules, it's going to most likely be Cesaro versus Aleister Black if nothing has changed since last week. So then we got Ember Moon taking on Mandy Rose. Rose had the early advantage and hit a knee for a close near fall. Moon fought back and hit a code breaker from the second turnbuckle. Moon then hit the Eclipse. Victory, bada boom, quick little match there. In the back, a random interviewer randomly asked Shelton Benjamin, who was sitting in front of a backdrop, who do you think is going to win the WWE Championship at Extreme Rules? He looked around, smiled, and walked off. What the hell was this? This made absolutely no sense. None whatsoever. I did not understand what this was, what this could lead to, what this could be teasing. I don't get it. So then we got the main event. It was Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler against Heavy Machinery. Winners move on to Extreme Rules to be added to the SmackDown Tag Team title match. So the SmackDown Tag Team champions, Bryan and Rowan, and the New Day all joined on commentary. Xavier and Big E have their own announce table. Bryan said the New Day turned the tag team division into a joke. He continued to insult New Day throughout the match. Otis and Ziggler did some mat wrestling early on. Owens pulled Ziggler out of the ring. Suddenly, Woods jumped over the announce table and attacked Bryan because he said he'd heard enough. New Day and Bryan and Rowan brawled on the floor. Bryan rocked Big E with a running knee, and Rowan gave Woods the iron claw into the announce table. After commercial break, the match restarted with both Bryan and Rowan and the New Day kicked out from ringside. Tucker hit a standing drop kick on Owens for a 2 count. Ziggler and Owens hit a neck breaker senton combo for a near fall. Ziggler slowed down the pace here with a front face lock. Tucker fought back and hit a crossbody from the second rope. Otis then got the hot tag and ran wild. Ziggler recovered and hit a big DDT. Owens then got a tag and hit a super kick, but Otis sent him to the floor. Otis then hit a splash and the caterpillar on Dolph Ziggler. Owens attempted a stunner on Otis, but he avoided it. Ziggler attempted a super kick, but Otis ducked, and he hit Owens with the super kick instead. Tucker sent Ziggler to the floor. Heavy Machinery hit the compactor on Kevin Owens and got the victory. Heavy Machinery will be moving on to Extreme Rules. So after the match, Owens hit Ziggler with a stunner. He turned to the camera, yelled something that they muted, their way of bleeping. They don't bleep stuff out. That they muted. I don't know what he said. And yeah. We'll see. Looks like we may get Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler at Extreme Rules. Oh. That was SmackDown. Just looking at the chat here. Oscar Strange Rodriguez says, so Tim, just some gossip. My son goes to school with Maria Kanellis' niece, and her and Mike live down the street from us. Apparently, she is really pregnant. Correct. We did report that this morning. The word going around backstage is that she's really pregnant, and she did not inform WWE about it until after they signed their new contracts. And I don't know when she knew. I don't know if she knew before. I don't know if she knew after. Because if you remember, when they first signed with the WWE back in 2017, it was not long before she got pregnant and had to take time off. Well, within the last less than a month, they re-signed 5-year deals, and now she's pregnant again. So it's not going to be long before she's going to have to pull off the road. So I don't see WWE being too happy with that. We'll see where it goes. They're going to hotshot this Mike Kanellis stuff. They've been teasing it on social media for the last couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, with the whole, is Maria mad at Mike? Mike just wants to make his wife proud and happy. So we'll see where it goes. But very interesting that your son goes to school with their niece. How did this come up? I want to know, like, did someone ask her, hey, is your aunt really pregnant? Or was she just like, my aunt's pregnant, if you guys saw on TV? Very, very interesting. And you know, if you need some help getting somebody pregnant, you may want to use some Blue Chew. Yes, Blue Chew. Because Blue Chew is here to help you guys get it up, get it going when the time is right. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. If you can benefit from extra functions when you need to get your wife pregnant, Blue Chew is a fast and easy way to enhance your performance. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so there's no in-person doctor visits, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no awkwardness. They're made in the U.S., and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment for free when you use the special promo code UNLIMITED at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. Again, that's Blue, B-L-U-E, like the color, chew.com, promo code UNLIMITED to try it for free. Blue Chew is better, cheaper, the faster choice, and we thank you for checking them out. So with that, go check out Blue Chew. Use code UNLIMITED at checkout. Get your first shipment free. Just pay the $5 shipping. And with that, let's hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's SmackDown Live. If you want to call in, you can do so at 559-475-8473. You can also text in at 510-906-1341. And we've already got a text. And we've got calls, so let's just take them all. Caller on the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Pretty good, yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. And I actually have a question.
Go for it.
What's going on with Leah Rush?
As far as I know, no one talks about him backstage, really. That's the best to my knowledge.
Because nobody really knows if he's still with WWE or
he's still under contract. But right now, I don't know what's going on other than no one talks about him.
Okay. And in your opinion, should Gallows and Anderson leave WWE once their contracts expire?
That's tough. I would say if I had to say right here, right now, yes. But at the same time, but hear me out. Their contracts are not due or not up until the fall, like September, October time. So if this stuff they're doing right now with them and AJ actually takes off and they put some legs to it and they keep it going longer than they did last time, maybe they shouldn't leave. Maybe if they're willing to keep AJ a heel for a significant amount of time and use them in a good way, hell, why not stay and see where this can lead to? If there's any kind of hope that it could lead to anything.
Okay. Yeah, I got one more.
Go for it.
Do you think a stipulation will be added to the Samoa Joe and Kofi match at Extreme Rules?
Well, if you saw Raw last night, they heavily teased that it could be a ladder match.
Honestly, that would not be a bad idea.
Not at all.
Well, that's all I got, so have a good night.
All right, thanks for the call and have a great night. Tom Jasper in the chat says, why were the Street Profits on Raw? Last I heard, Heyman wants them on Raw. Caller on the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim, how you doing? It's JD.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Hey, man, your show last night when it ended, looks like you got a little heat with FCU, bro.
Hey, they're going to talk crap on NASCAR. I mean, dang.
Hey, I'm a NASCAR fan myself. I've been going to MISG since like 2002, 2003.
Nice.
I haven't gone the last couple of years, but yeah, somebody called me a mark on the show earlier. I wanted to straighten them out and also let you know I also am a NASCAR fan.
Nice.
But hey, I kind of was disappointed how they kind of treated Nicky tonight with a loss. She did a great little promo, a great little segment.
Right.
She's been on fire. And what they do, they just doused her with a bucket of cold ice water. What was all of that, man?
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Like I said earlier, I thought it was very weird that they put her on this hot streak and they had her looking like she was really, really going somewhere, and then she just gets beat. She just gets beat out of nowhere. I get it. They don't want to beat Bayley 2 weeks in a row because she's the champion, but at the same time, the fans are behind Nikki Cross, and she's somebody that, eventually once you're done with this stuff with Alexa and Bayley, you can move on to Alexa and Nikki, have Nikki go over Alexa and make Nikki the next big star.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they could have just had little, Miss Fury, 5 foot of Fury, just kind of come in and kind of interfere and, you know, created a different angle or something along that line. It's not just a real fast squash match.
But here's the weird thing. I don't know if this is true, but we only saw Alexa that one time in the backstage segment when she said, hey, you're going to host tonight. So that almost leads me to believe, I haven't got this confirmed yet, that maybe Alexa wasn't there.
Okay.
Because we never saw her in front of the live crowd.
Right, okay, well, just to be a silly question, where in the hell was she then?
I don't know, maybe she had some other prior engagement she couldn't miss, so she couldn't go to San Antonio. I don't know. It's just an assumption on my part.
Right, okay. Well, there was a couple of people, saying earlier, where was Roman Reigns? Where was Roman Reigns? Kind of nice not having him there, that good old saying, how can I love you and how can I miss you if you're always there?
Right. I know.
Well, it sucks. It sucks what they're doing with Finn Balor, though, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
I have no clue where they're... Well, I mean, they were on the show last week for like 90 seconds, and then they're nowhere this week.
Yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to promote an awesome match like that? Only do it one time, and don't even do it on both shows? I don't know, I thought that was kind of lame.
Right.
But, it's nice. It's nice that, Roman wasn't there. He's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong. It's just that, when we see him on Monday night and Tuesday night, when he's only supposed to be on Tuesday, and you could forget about this stupid whatever rule that is, that everybody just keeps not acknowledging.
Right.
But, hey, man, when are you going to... There's something else I was going to ask you. Shoot, I'm having a brain fart, and I usually don't. Well, Tim, I got one thing.
Yep.
I was kind of thinking about this the other day, and I had a buddy kind of bring it up. Well, the Undertaker, it's the reasons why he's back. Two obvious reasons is attendance and drawing in more fans.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is I'm kind of going on a limb here, and I'll finish on the at the end of this and kind of see what you got to say.
Okay.
But I think the third reason, why he's back is that he wants to finish his feud with Roman Reigns. Considering he beat him at WrestleMania, and I know there's no way in hell they can run a storyline from here all the way to WrestleMania. But what if they do a storyline along the lines where I'm back, and the reason why I'm back is to redeem myself, so I can go out on top, so I can leave my boots in the ring. What are your thoughts on that, bro? JD out, man.
I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night. That's an interesting take on it. I actually kind of like that. Now, I know they probably wouldn't book anything from now all the way to WrestleMania, but who knows? Maybe Undertaker Roman at SummerSlam, if that's the ultimate goal, to get them in the ring again for the Undertaker to get his win back. Maybe that is the thing. But at the same time, I don't see WWE wanting to stop using Undertaker anytime soon. If they got this Saudi deal, then people in Saudi Arabia love The Undertaker, so they're going to want to milk as much out of The Undertaker as they can, so they're going to put him in matches, even if it's short matches or whatever they're going to try and do going forward at Saudi Arabia shows. I know the next Saudi Arabia show is supposed to take place in November, so I don't know. I see them trying to use him as much as possible going forward as far as the Saudi stuff, keep him as relevant as possible for that, but if he does want to have one last big match, maybe they go Roman at SummerSlam, but it was reported last week by Sports Illustrated that The Undertaker has mentioned that he wants to work with Drew McIntyre. So maybe he wants a big match with McIntyre, and this tag team match at Extreme Rules could be like a testing of the waters to see how they do work together and see if Undertaker feels good with McIntyre in the ring, and then we go from there. So maybe if we see some goodness or some good things out of Undertaker McIntyre at Extreme Rules, then that can lead to the singles match and this and that. But I don't know where they're going with Undertaker, really. It's going to be interesting to see how long he keeps going, how long he wants to keep wrestling. I mean, they just signed him to a new deal. I don't know the what's of the new deal other than they've got priority over him and they can tell him what he can and can't do basically as far as outside appearances, hence why he was pulled from StarCast and no longer taking outside like talking engagement and autograph signing bookings. But again, if you do want to call in and give me your thoughts, you can do so at 559-475-8473. Before we check out some of the text messages, I do want to let you guys know that our store, PWUnlimited.net/store, will be on sale this week, tomorrow and Thursday. TeePublic is running a 4th of July flash sale where everything on our store will be 30% off. That means t-shirts, hoodies, if maybe you wear hoodies in the winter or the summer, I don't know, but tank tops, cell phone cases, pillows, and more, all 30% off for just on Thursday or Wednesday and Thursday. Head over there and buy some of the stuff on our store. Some of the stuff that isn't PW Unlimited branding is put on there to help other artists on TeePublic, though. We are a partner store of TeePublic, and with that, we are allowed to help promote other artists so we can help promote their work, their stuff, and get them some sales as well. So it helps them out just as much as it helps us. So head over to PWUnlimited.net tomorrow and Thursday, the 3rd and 4th, and everything will be 30% off. So with that, let's read some of the text messages here to see what some other people think of tonight's Smackdown. Person here says, question, do you think Brock Lesnar will cash in at SummerSlam? Maybe not. Depends on the route they're doing with the champion at SummerSlam and who the champion's facing. Because if it's another like lame duck match, like a Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin, maybe they wait even longer. Maybe they think SummerSlam's too predictable and they wait till somewhere down the road. Person says, did Kevin Owens turn face? Oh boy, did he. I believe he did. When he first returned from an injury earlier this year, he was supposed to come back as a babyface, and he had said in an interview that he wanted to be babyface. Then when they turned him heel when Daniel Bryan got hurt for a little while, he didn't really like that and wanted to go back to babyface. So this is something that Owens has wanted. He's wanted to be working babyface ever since he did return earlier this year. Person says, any idea how WWE will book their Saudi Arabia shows after SmackDown moves to Fox? I don't know. Other than they're trying to figure that out now. They've canceled some UK shows to try and clear up the schedule. Maybe they just move it to the next day and they fly everybody out last minute, or they move it to 2 days down the line. I don't know exactly how they can make this work, because it's going to be interesting to see if that next Saudi show is still done on a Friday. And if not, and if it is, if it's going to be only a Raw crew show from here on out, or if it's a Raw crew show with some SmackDown guys, and then there's going to be SmackDown guys, unfortunately, missing from SmackDown that night. I don't know at all. Tom Jasper says, why is AEW not doing extreme matches on TNT? Because it's still got to be somewhat family-oriented. They can't go too extreme unless they want to put that TVMA rating on it, and they don't want that. I don't know what the exact rating is going to be for television. We saw the last 2 pay-per-views for TV 14. And maybe they're going to be PG on TV. We don't know. But Tony Khan was very, very quick to shut it down when someone said, will we see this level of violence that we saw from Moxley and Janela on TNT? And he goes, oh, no. That is not going to happen. There's looking at a couple more text messages here. This person says, is Wyatt's puppets just following people around? The rabbit was by Nicky and Bliss backstage, and the witch was behind Cruz. I hope they post vids if truth at Drake's honeymoon. It would be interesting. I don't know what they're doing with Bray right now. Last I heard, maybe next week we see him. That was a tentative date that we had heard about a week and a half ago, so we'll see. Person here, last text message we do have before we wrap it up, says, hey Tim, who's your favorite wrestler of all time in any company? That's a tough one, but I think I'm going to have to go CM Punk. And I'm not just a CM Punk mark. I like CM Punk since before he was even in WWE. I like CM Punk. Yes, when he was in ROH, but honestly, I saw non-ROH stuff of CM Punk before I saw any ROH stuff. His feud on the Indies with Raven was great. They had some great cage matches they had a great cage match in Ring of Honor. They had some great matches together overseas. Raven and CM Punk did some great things, and they played up the whole, I'm straight edge, I don't drink, you drink, you're a druggie, you do all this crap, I'm better than you. It was great. I loved it. I've always liked CM Punk since, I saw him years before he ever came to WWE. And like I said, not just his Ring of Honor stuff, but his stuff on the Indies, stuff overseas. And honestly, some of my favorite Punk stuff is his feud with Raven that really spanned all of the Indies. As far as other favorites, I grew up as a Stone Cold fan, but when Stone Cold was around, I was still a kid. And right now, my favorites are Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles, as far as current wrestlers. Yeah, Woken King Slender, CM Punk stuff in TNA was pretty good. That's when he was actually paired with Raven. So to me, it was a little odd where I had seen, because I don't think I saw the CM Punk TNA stuff when it was first happening. I saw it after the fact. And so I had already seen all the feud he did with Raven, and then I'm like, wait, what? He's not... why is he friends with Raven? It was weird. Mickey James is even in that faction. Tom Jasper says, is CM Punk going to AEW? Last I heard, if he's still under contract with UFC, he can't. As long as he's under contract with UFC, word is that he can't go to AEW. He can't sign with them unless UFC allows it, and I don't see them allowing it. So, I don't think so. But with that, I'm going to wrap things up here. I want to say thank you to everybody who did join us live, everybody who called and texted in, and everybody who watched here later on YouTube. I also want to thank everybody who did actually watch us or listens to us on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher Radio, iHeart, and more. We will be live tomorrow with the PW Unlimited Wednesday show. Will be me and Nick. So if you guys want your weekly dosage of Nick, you guys are going to get it tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.